Without a doubt, in your years of English practice, you've studied the conditionals. Right now, your brain might be racing thinking, conditionals, conditionals. Oh, I think there's a first and a second. You're exactly right. In fact, we have 4 conditional forms in English, the 0, first, second, and third. And now I've got a twist. We also have mixed conditionals. As you might guess, a mixed conditional mixes the forms or structures of the other conditionals. Let's take a look at an example sentence. If we had downloaded the directions before we lost our signal, we wouldn't be lost right now. In this sentence, I've combined the third and the second conditional forms. Now, again, I know your brain might be racing and you're thinking, this sounds really confusing and do I really need this? I hear you. Conditionals can be tricky. However, I'm going to walk through this with you step by step and give you ample examples so that you understand why you want to use mixed conditionals in your English conversations and how to use them with accuracy. By the end of this lesson, you'll be ready to use them with more confidence. So get a notebook and a pen or pencil and get ready to take some notes. And at the end, I've got an extra special bonus to help you practice. But very quickly, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Anne-Marie, an English confidence and fluency coach. Everything I do is designed to help you get the confidence you want for your life and work in English. If you'd love more free resources and lessons from me, including lessons I have on the 0, first, second, and third conditionals, you can find hundreds of my Confident English lessons at my Speak Confident English website. While you're there, you can also download my in-depth training called How to Get the Confidence to Say What You Want in English. In that training, I share my #1 fluency and confidence building strategy. Or if you would love to learn, practice, speak, and make progress in your English with me, be sure to check out my Confident Women community. To start this lesson today, I want to briefly refresh your memory of the 0, first, second, and third conditionals so that we have those correct structures in your mind because we'll be using them as we continue into the mixed conditional forms. I also want to talk about why mixed conditionals are so useful. Then we'll get into 3 specific reasons you'll want to use the mixed conditionals, and I'll be giving you examples. Let's talk briefly about the 4 conditional structures. Why do we have them? And we'll look at an example sentence for each. One reason we use the 0 conditional is it helps us talk about routines, facts, and truths. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. The first conditionals are used for present or future situations that are likely or possible. For instance, we might use them to make a promise to someone or give someone a warning. If you cook dinner tonight, I will do the dishes. When we transition to the second conditional form, we are not just changing our structure, but we're also changing our focus. Instead of thinking about likely or possible, present and future situations, we're thinking about unlikely, unreal, maybe even impossible, present or future situations. We use this when we want to express a wish for an alternate reality. For example, if I had 1 extra hour in the day, I would spend my time painting. Now, of course, I can't add to time. I can't change time. Time is fixed. I have 24 hours a day, just like you do. But I can wish for an alternate reality, and I express that wish through the second conditional form. And now the third conditional form focuses on the past, the unreal past. We think about a situation that didn't happen in the past, but we wish it did. This allows us to express regrets over past actions or decisions. For example, if you had told me that you needed help, I would have canceled my trip and stayed home to help you. In that sentence, I'm expressing that I wish something else had happened in the past. Unfortunately, it didn't. Now, if you want to get in-depth lessons on each one of those conditional forms, I've got lessons on all of them at my Speak Confident English website. I'll leave links in the notes below as well. So now, why do we need the mixed conditionals if we already have these other four? Each of those four conditionals focuses on situations or actions that happened within a specific time frame. For example, the first conditional is focused on the present or future, that is likely. The second conditional is also focused on the present or future, but unlikely or even impossible. The third conditional focused on the past. However, sometimes something that happens in the past also influences or impacts the current moment. Mixed conditionals allow us to demonstrate that. They allow us to transition through time or connect those past decisions with something that is happening in the moment or something that could happen. Let's walk through this step by step. I'm going to share with you 3 sentences, the first in the second conditional, then the third, and then a mixed form. To do this, I want you to imagine 2 people going on a road trip and they're traveling to somewhere somewhat remote. For example, if you're in my area and you're visiting Big Sur for the first time, there are places on that drive where you will lose your cell phone signal. So here's my first sentence in the second conditional form. If we had a good signal, we could download the directions. Now in this sentence, we're focused on the unreal present. The truth is we don't have a good signal right now, so we can't download the directions. And perhaps as a result, we're lost. This is all focused on the unreal present. Now, let's say you've arrived at your destination. You've had some time to relax. It's the next day, and you're telling someone a story about your drive yesterday. If we had downloaded our directions before losing the signal, we would not have gotten lost. Here I'm focused on the unreal past. I can't change yesterday. It's already finished. But I can definitely express some regret over what happened, or maybe some frustration, some annoyance. The third conditional allows me to focus on that unreal past. And now we're going to mix them. If we had downloaded the directions before losing our signal, we wouldn't be lost. Here, I'm focused on the unreal past. At some point in the past, we didn't download our directions. Maybe it was 30 minutes ago, maybe 1 hour ago, maybe it was yesterday. And now that we don't have the signal, we're lost in this moment. That past action has impacted our present moment. This is why mixed conditionals are helpful. Sometimes our past decisions or past events influence the present moment. When we're focused on conditionals that highlight the unreal past and their influence on an unreal present or future, to accurately use this specific type of a mixed conditional, we have a form or structure that we want to follow. In the if clause, we start with the third conditional structure, if plus the past perfect. If I had packed my sunscreen. Then we add would, followed by the base form of the verb. This is a part of the second conditional form. I wouldn't have a sunburn right now. In addition to using the if plus past perfect plus would plus base form of the verb, we have a second structure we can also use to help emphasize an unreal present or future. For example, I want you to imagine you're having a conversation with a friend who a few months ago said no to a job offer. It was a really good job offer, but it would require her to move to a new city and she didn't want to move. You might be having a conversation with her right now, and in that conversation you might say, if you had accepted that job offer, you would be moving across the country right now, or you would be moving across the country next week. How are you feeling? Are you happy you stayed? Are you happy with your decision? For this example, I've changed the structure just a bit. I'm still using the if plus past perfect for that unreal past, and then it's followed by would plus the to be verb and an ing verb. You would be moving. I want to share with you several more example sentences, real sentences that someone might use to illustrate these structures. And then we'll talk about 3 specific reasons you'll want to use this type of a mixed conditional. Here are 4 more sentences that focus on the unreal past with the unreal present or future. If I had learned French as a kid, I would have a perfect French accent right now. Unfortunately, neither of those are true. It's an unreal past and an unreal present. If she hadn't received the scholarship, she wouldn't be going to Harvard right now. Thank goodness she got it. If I hadn't spent all my bonus right away, I would have enough money saved to go to New York City with you next month. And now this last example, imagine someone saying it in the middle of running a marathon. If I hadn't trained as much as I did, this would feel more difficult, but I feel great right now. Before we get into 3 specific reasons to use these mixed conditionals, I have one last tip. Like all conditional forms, we can reverse the clauses in the sentence. One of my examples was, if I had remembered to pack my sunscreen, I wouldn't have a sunburn right now. And I can reverse those with, I wouldn't have this sunburn right now if I had remembered to pack my sunscreen. For the remainder of this lesson, I want to highlight how we use this mixed conditional form to indicate missed opportunities and past regrets that have an impact on the present or future. We also use this mixed conditional to share assumptions about what we think would be different right now. And we can use it to express willingness or to give advice. Be sure to stick with me to the end because I also want to share with you a special bonus I have to help you practice. As I highlighted earlier, we can use the 3rd conditional to highlight a past regret, something that we wish had been different about the past. We can also use mixed conditionals to highlight those missed opportunities and the reality that that missed opportunity or regret influences or has an impact on our present or future. For example, she would be able to pay off her house right now if she had invested in that stock when you told her to. The truth is, she didn't invest when you told her to, and as a result, she doesn't have all the money right now to pay off her house the way she wants. If my daughter hadn't missed her flight yesterday, I wouldn't need to spend extra money on a ticket. If I had pursued art at a younger age, I would probably be a better artist now, but better late than never. Because we can use more than one conditional to express regret, I want to compare how I might express regret using the 2nd conditional and how I would do it in the mixed conditional form. This first sentence is going to be in the 2nd conditional form. If I spoke Spanish now, I wouldn't need to rely on a translator now. Again, the 2nd conditional focuses on unreal present or future. So the truth is, I don't speak Spanish now, and I do need to rely on a translator as a result. That entire sentence is focused on an unreal present. Now, in this 2nd example sentence, I want to do a mix. I want to focus on something that didn't happen in the past and its impact on the present. If I had learned Spanish in the past, I wouldn't need to rely on a translator now. Here, the first part of that sentence is focused on the unreal past and its influence on the present. So now I want to pause here for a moment and ask you to reflect on past decisions, past outcomes that perhaps were missed opportunities or regrets that still have an impact on your life today or potentially on your future. Is there a sentence you might use to express that? I have 3 sentence starters to help you think this through. Take a moment to review them, and if you want to, you can share an example with me in the comments below. If I had studied or learned, I would or wouldn't. If I had pursued when I was younger, I would or wouldn't. If I had become I would or wouldn't. And now let's talk about the second reason you'll want to use this mixed conditional form. You can use it to share an assumption about what you think might be different about the present or future. Imagine, for example, you're attending a lecture with a friend, and at the end of the presentation, an audience member asks the presenter a question, and it's a question that seems like it should be easy to answer. However, you notice that the presenter is obviously struggling with how to answer this question. While this is happening, you might whisper to a friend, if she had done her research, she wouldn't be struggling with this question, or she wouldn't hesitate to answer this question. In this case, you are acting on the assumption or the belief that she didn't do her research. The truth is you don't really know, and you don't really know why she's struggling in the present moment. Perhaps something simply distracted her. This statement allows us to express that assumption that if something else had happened in the past, something else would be true about the present moment. Here's another example of how we might assume the way a person would respond if they were present in that moment. Let's say you and your coworkers had a surprising meeting with your manager that day. However, one of your coworkers wasn't there. In talking about what happened, you might say, Melissa would be furious if she had heard the manager speak that way. Of course, you can't know for certain how someone else might feel or respond in a particular situation, but we can make an assumption about it, and this mixed conditional form helps us express that assumption. And finally, the third reason you'll want to use this mixed conditional form is you can use it to express advice or feedback. Imagine, for example, you manage a team, and just before a major deadline, one of your team members requests help or says that she's unable to complete the project. As a result, the entire team is in chaos and maybe has to work extra to make up for this situation. And it could have been addressed earlier, but it wasn't. In giving feedback to that team member, you might say, if I had been informed earlier when this issue initially began, our team would be better prepared to handle this request. How can we improve communication going forward to avoid putting extra stress on the team? Here's one more example of how we might use this to give advice or feedback. In this case, I want you to imagine that you work at a doctor's office and you're training a new team member. A woman has just arrived for her doctor's appointment, and she's a little frustrated that she can't see the doctor right away. Instead, she has to spend 10 or 15 minutes completing a series of forms. Now, while the patient is doing that, and in the process of training your new team member, you might say, if she had completed the forms online beforehand, she would be with the doctor right now and we would avoid these uncomfortable situations. We always encourage our clients to complete the forms online to save time when they arrive for their doctor's appointment. You now have a complete overview of how and why to use this mixed conditional form focused on the unreal past with the unreal present and future. I know that practice is 100% necessary to gain that automatic ability to be accurate when using these forms. And that's why I have an extra bonus for you, a downloadable PDF worksheet that gives you ample opportunity to use the correct structures, and I give you examples to check your answers. On the worksheet, you'll find 12 sentence prompts with the key words you should use for your example sentence. And as always, if you want to share any of your examples with me, you can do that. The best place is in the comments below. If you'd like to get that PDF worksheet, I want you to visit this lesson at my Speak Confident English website. I'll provide a link directly below this video. And with that, if you found today's lesson helpful, I would love to know. And there are a few ways that you can tell me that. Number one, you can give this lesson a thumbs up here on YouTube. Number two, you can subscribe to this channel so you never miss one of my Confident English lessons. And number three, you can drop a comment below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.